Hey everyone, we're actually here for a recap of this past August Slam T1D's Vermont Summer Classic, our 13th annual, and here with an all-star cast of Joel Kynock, Mojo, and Dan Peon.
Why don't you guys, Danny, maybe why don't you talk us through the new Yankee Stadium, how it came to be and everything?
Well, it almost didn't come to be Friday night.
Thursday, it was Thursday, right? That wind was coming through, and we had people holding up the wall.
Rebracing it, and the water was rushing under it.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Held up good. It looks great. More improvements coming next year.
Speaking of little Yankee Stadium, I guess I've always been curious why we settled on Yankee Stadium. Any insight on that, Jeff?
I could say things like it's God's stadium. It's the place. But you know, the reality is, when we bought this place, there wasn't gonna be anything else other than a little Yankee. But no, seriously, aside from that, what it does is it enables us to continue to grow the tournament without impacting, you know, either schedule greatly. We can add teams and still play within the same period of time with that additional field. And it's turned out it's a great stadium. It's a great fit for everything. So
you saw where the probing question was headed, folks. So heads up, Mr. Kolak is a diehard Yankee fan.
Yeah, I was a diehard Red Sox fan. And for me, for years, Yankee Stadium was always the sign on the portalet. But
that's right. Yeah.
But as a Red Sox fan, I can even appreciate that. The field itself is amazing. It's a beautiful place to play. The Staten Island Yankees came here and played the first game ever on it and won. We'll talk more about them later, but that was an amazing outcome to take a Yankees team, take a Yankees win on the Yankees field. Yeah. So that was great.
Well, and I think you think about it. I mean, if you're gonna have Fenway, you got to have Yankee. You got to. It's
absolutely.
The AL East has got to represent. So.
Get up off your knees, Skip.
What about the kid from England that came over? Wasn't he something else?
Yeah, we had this young kid, Mason Barnaby, if you're watching. Great kid. Came all the way from London. His family heard about the tournament. They watched some videos online. He was a young 9-year-old, recently diagnosed with T1D. Reached out to you, I believe. Jeff, you can talk more about it, but we were able to get him over here for some games, and he actually got to meet some of the wiffle ball legends that he really admired.
Way to go, Mason. Look good out there, buddy.
Thank you.
Hey, Mason, you're seeing it well, though.
Thank
You're
you.
all bad on ball.
It fits perfectly with the mission of Slam T1D, which is to provide outreach and support to people with type 1 diabetes. And we were able to provide the equivalent of like a campership, as we fund many of those throughout the year. So provided for transportation for he and his mom to come over. He was living large. He was an all-star for the entire weekend. And people really gravitated toward him and were there to support him. And I think he described it as the best day of his life. Got to meet Jimmy Norp and Trey Flood, two players with MLW who have type 1 diabetes, and they took him under their wings, and he played with their team, and it was really special.
His mom just told me he saw me and Trey's video a couple years ago. We made a video for MLW where we did like a quick little snippet on diabetes and like our story with it. And Mason saw that a couple weeks after he got diagnosed with diabetes. He also became a big baseball player because of that. Like, he saw us play wiffle ball, and he's been super fun, big energy, a lot of energy. Like, it's been an awesome experience meeting Mason, man.
Yeah, not to mention the guy's just like flat out hilarious. I mean, he might be a youngster, but he has some of the funniest jokes.
Let's go, yes. Thanks.
Mason. Here you go, brother. Good work, man. Good work.
Thanks. Middle left. Where's that gone? Get it!
Yeah, and make no mistake about it, he played well.
He's got skills. He's got skills.
We had a bunch of new teams this year.
You guys talked about the Staten Island Yankees up here, and great having them. Boston Terriers, Will Sleeper and his gang came up from Boston. I think Boston Patriots, Mark Rossetti, and then we had the Del Ave Devils return from previous year from Hyde Park, Boston.
I remember the Devils.
And
Gave me this hat.
So yeah, Lexi's Juice Box Jammers they're from New Hampshire. Who else do we have new? Oh, the Baldwin Wiffle from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
It's great to get the new teams up here. I think people don't expect what happens here. I think people think it's a fun little wiffle event with a couple folks around. They show up and there's 2,000 people wandering around the fields and cheering on. It's a little something to take in, I think.
They don't realize that it's literally in a backyard.
Right.
You know, so when they come over a hill and they see it, they're shocked.
And then you have, just each year more and more people with type 1 diabetes attend the event. It hits them that everyone here is playing the game for them.
They see that they're not alone. Other people see that it's a bigger disease than they might know about and stuff like that.
First pitch home run, there's another $100. There's 200, there's 300, 3 for 3, there's 4.
So you said home run derby. Who won the home run derby?
Yeah, I
this year?
remember the home run derby, back-to-back, Jimmy North.
Yeah, Jimmy North, the MLW. With type 1 diabetes, he had T1D.
Nice, make a statement. Do you remember how many it was?
About 1,000, felt like. they were just going and going and going off. We raised a good chunk of money during the derby itself.
This year, it was the Farnham family. 2 of the kids have type 1 diabetes, and their dad tragically died in a snowmobile accident last February. So we were able to raise about $3,600. All the spectators, people would just pledge for every home run hit. And you had people coming up to Mojo just constantly, $10 for every home run, $5 for every home run. Here's 500. All of that. It was.
In addition to that, the teams have to raise money just to play.
Right.
So, who was the top fundraiser?
This year it was the O'Farrell's Goats.
Yeah.
First time ever we've had a team raise over $100,000.
Yep. Liam O'Farrell was top fundraiser. Yeah, that's pretty remarkable.
It was a remarkable year with fundraising. We had, it was 6 teams over $20,000 apiece, had 12 teams over $10,000 apiece. In total, over $430,000.
And like you just mentioned, a testament to this being a fundraising event that happens to be a fun wiffle ball game at the same time. A team that went 0-3 in the tournament made the playoffs all the way to the championship because of their fundraising.
We call it the power ranking. It is fun. We take everything gets weighed in. You fundraise money, that gives you points. You win games, it gives you points. You have matching uniforms, it gives you points. That's how Electric City qualified, is they were the 12th seed in, the last seed locked in, and it paid off for them because they ran all the way to the championship.
Yeah.
The championship game itself was exciting. The Staten Island Yankees came away with a win. Old man Joe Tyrone pitching on the mound part of the game and whatnot. But their MVP, Joey Rigotti, that kid can play wiffle ball. He guards third base about 2 feet away from the batter. He'll charge the plate on every hit, scoop up every ball, and get it over to first. He's an amazing wiffle ball player.
I was talking with Mojo during the game, and throughout the playoffs and the tournament, he didn't make one error the entire tournament.
You know what? The Yankees also had a great strategy when they played their games. They played with their infielders way in on the infield grass, and I think that helped them. I think it was great. I wouldn't be surprised to see a bunch of teams,
Tip
mimicking
to the other
that.
teams that come into the tournament.
Yeah.
Don't play behind the dirt. It
right.
doesn't get there.
And now, who did we have going into the Hall of Fame?
None other than Larry Rieger. If you didn't know it, he lives here. I mean, he's out here working on the fields, working on the just everything, the base pass and the pitcher's mounds, and he organizes the entire umpiring staff for the entire weekend.
Big shout out to the volunteer umpires that come and do this on their own dime that Larry Rieger, as Jeff said, organizes. But the guys that he gets in here, they do it for the same reason we do. They love it. So big shout out to the umpires.
Yeah, no, it was great. Larry is our second inductee into the Hall of Fame after this guy, #1. Yeah.
All right, gang, to wrap this up. Last year, as I understand it, we had 27 teams playing in this tournament. Raised over $400,000, $432,000 to be exact. somewhere in the ballpark of 330 just players.
So we've touched on a lot of things today, Jeff. When we see a number like $430,000, what does that enable Slam to do?
So, you know, our mission, Slam T1D's mission, is to support people of all ages with type 1 diabetes, children, adults, their families, caregivers, and that support is offered in any number of ways. We provide camperships and scholarships for children, teenagers to attend sports camps, diabetes camps. We help other organizations expand their services. This year we were introduced to the Connecticut Children's Hospital, where we're helping them expand their program for a day camp to reach underserved and underprivileged families in cities like New Haven and Hartford, Connecticut, where kids need to get to camp to learn how to manage their diabetes, and they just they don't have, oftentimes don't have the means to do so. So working with other organizations and providing grants to incentivize young adults and teens to get on a looped system where an insulin pump and a continuous glucose monitor kind of speak to one another, and it enables them to manage their T1D better. So, you know, a number of things that we do throughout the year. We just teamed up with Point Guard College, or PGC, which is a camp organization, 14,000 campers across the country, and we provided 20 camperships to T1Ders from here to Calabasas, California. So, and I'll tell you though, a lot goes into creating a place here at Little Fenway where when people with type 1 diabetes come here, they are empowered to live through their disease and live life in full despite everything that they have to go through. You know, you've often heard me say that the toolbox keeps getting bigger, the tools in it keep getting better, but yet the average hemoglobin A1C, the measure of health for someone with type 1 diabetes, is double what you and I would be. And a lot of times too, they struggle with just the mental aspect of dealing with a disease that's 24/7, 365, where you go in, get a good report from a doctor, and you walk out and you still have to test, you still have to look at your monitor, you still have to administer insulin and understand how many carbs you're doing. It doesn't end.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to Mason Barnaby that we talked to earlier, I spoke to his mother a little bit, and I've heard this from a few other kids that have shown up to this tournament over years, is when they go out on the field, when we call the T1Ders out on the field, it's amazing for them to feel that they're not alone, and they get a real sense of community, and they make friends for life based over, you know, having the same disease. So it's amazing.
Through Wiffle Ball, this has just become, you know, it's a growing family of people with type 1 diabetes, their families, and all of us who support them.
What can we look forward to coming up in 2025?
Gosh, it just seems like the tournament keeps growing, you know, year after year. It just keeps getting bigger. You know, more teams, more fundraising, and so looks like we're going to have between 28 to 30 teams, you know, up from 27 from last year, and we'll probably set the goal at $500,000 for fundraising. Really excited about it. We've got quite a bit of interest. A number of applications have come in for new teams, and we've gone through most of those. So we'll be sending out those invitations in November and get everyone registered. And
so a goal of $500,000. Obviously, that would be the highest that you've ever raised. I think it's more than feasible. I think we can get there. We've grown every year, correct? Yep. Every year we've raised a little bit more. So get out there and start fundraising now. He's taking money now.
And the year one, $9,800. 10 teams raised $9,800, and 13 years later, $432,000.
If you want in, slamt1d.org, click Wiffle Ball, send us an application.
Now do it soon.
Do it soon, because we're almost full. Come join us. It's a blast.